Hello students, welcome to this English class. Let us start a poem today. You know, poetry is a very important branch of literature. Among the branches of literature, poetry is the first origin. Poetry came first, then the other branches of literature. First poetry, then drama, then novel, then criticism. We have these branches of literature, and you know that literature reflects the society. Literature is the mirror of the society. It reflects what happens in society. All the activities of society are usually reflected in literature. So, literature is a very vast and important aspect, important area which includes almost everything. It includes art, science, commerce, religion, music, what not. It includes almost everything. All the occurrences of society are usually reflected in literature. So, literature is the mirror of society, it reflects what happens in the society. Yes, dear students, we therefore think of literature which reflects our activities, which reflects our mind, which reflects our thought, which reflects our action. It reflects everything. And now come to the first branch of literature, that is poetry. And since we are going to do a poem today, let us see what poetry is. Poetry, you know, is something that is spontaneous. Poetry is spontaneous. As William Wordsworth says, I think perhaps you will do a poem of his, Daffodils, which is there in your syllabus. So, William Wordsworth says that poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, which takes its origin from emotion, recollected in its tranquility. So, poem is something that is natural, that is spontaneous. Poetry is not forced. Poetry comes to the poet as leaves come to a tree. So, poetry is quite natural and it is not forced. Another aspect of poetry is that poetry is didactic and delightful. It teaches and delights at times. If it does not give any message to the society, if poetry does not cast an influence on the reader, if a poem does not have its influence on the reader, it does not work. It is not worthwhile. Poetry is not worthwhile if it does not cast any impact on the reader, on the reader's mind. So, it works like a catalyst. It makes a chemical reaction in the mind of the reader, and it changes the mind of the reader from bad to good. So, it is a changing force. Poetry changes human character. Poetry changes human personality. So, human personality and human character are changed. This happens, and poetry is a powerful influence on human character. This is what you know, and William Wordsworth therefore says, poetry is the spontaneous overflow. Poetry is an overflow, and the overflow is quite spontaneous. Poetry is natural, it is spontaneous. and it is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, not ordinary feelings. Poetry is always powerful feelings, it contains powerful feelings. If feelings are ordinary, it can't be good poetry, and it takes its origin from emotion. Where does poetry take its origin from? It takes its origin from emotion, from heart, and therefore emotion, feeling, sentiment, these things are the very important aspects of poetry, and therefore poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings which takes its origin from emotion recollected in tranquility. So, कविता हेउछि कविर हृदय निहित स्वतस्फूर्त भावर वाग्मय अभिव्यक्ति. So, poetry is spontaneous, poetry is natural, poetry comes naturally, it flows like water, it comes to a poet as if leaves come to a tree, and therefore this is poetry. We have different kinds of poems, and one important kind of poem is ballad. Ballad is a kind of poem that is very important, and we usually do it. Ballad is a poem which tells you a story, or you can call it a story in verse. It is a narrative poem that tells you a story. Another kind of poem is ode, a poem which is written in the form of an address. Somebody is addressed and the poem is written, that is ode, like ode to Nightingale, ode on a Grecian urn, ode to west wind. So, we have different odes, and another kind of poem is lyric. Lyric means a poem which can be sung with accompaniment of a lyre, L-Y-R-E, a musical instrument, a stringed musical instrument, lyre. So, poem is lyric. And another kind of poem is, you see, elegy. Elegy is a poem which is written on the death of somebody else. Elegy written on a country churchyard, it is a poem. And elegy. Another is dirge. Dirge means a poem which is sung when the dead body is carried to the grave. So, this is called a dirge. And here the kind of poem we are going to do is a lyric poem. Here we are going to do a lyric poem, and now come to the poem. The poem is Sham of Life. The name of the poem is A Sham of Life. The poem is by H.W. Longfellow, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The poet was born in 1807 and he died in 1882. He was a very powerful American poet. He wrote his poems in which he gave a message to the society. The reader must feel propelled, the reader must feel influenced. When the reader would read the poems, he will feel the difference. And here the name of the poem is A Sham of Life. Sham means song of life. Sham means song. Sham means song. You see, this this actually this is originally this is not an English word. The word start with P, but P is not pronounced. P is not pronounced. It starts with P. You might have come across different words, a lot of words in English which start with a word and that is not pronounced with a letter and that is not pronounced. Here P, sham, P is not pronounced. You can you say some words in which the initial letter is not pronounced, it remains silent, it remains mute? Can you say some words? Yes, the words are like this. You can say psychology, here P remains silent. Pneumonia, here P remains silent. Here P remains silent is the name of a scientist. He is called Ptolemy, and we can say P is not pronounced here. We have also some other words in which some other letters remain silent, like here T is not pronounced. We say tsunami, T starts with T. This is the spelling tsunami, but T is not pronounced, T remains silent. And here is a poem for us. The name of the poem is A Psalm of Life, means a song of life, and the poet is Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, an American poet. And the poem is a very inspirational poem. The poem inspires you, and this is an inspirational poem on life. Life is pleasant, life is enjoyable, life is worth living, life is life is meaningful. So, when we say that life is like this, it inspires us. So, this poem inspires. This is an inspirational poem, and he says that life is a solemn virtue. Life is solemn. Solemn means noble. Solemn means noble. Life is noble. Life is a solemn virtue. Life is noble. Life is gorgeous. Life is enjoyable. Life is pleasant. Life is joyous, and life becomes worthwhile by being a powerful influence for future generations. So, life is worthwhile. Life is worth living when it becomes a powerful influence for the future generations. A man should do something in his life which should influence others. The future generations should feel influenced. A man should do some work from which the future generations should learn something. So, learning, you should do something, and you should teach your future generations, and the future generations should follow your footprints. If you do not do anything like that, your life is useless. Your life is nasty, brutish, solitary, short, poor, morose, dull, sullen, ill-tempered. So, life is prosaic. Life becomes nonsensical, just a sheer nonsense. So, life should be enjoyable, life should be worth living. Therefore, he says that progress is important in life. Life without progress is meaningless, because life always progresses from the birth to death. Life is always a progress. Life is a journey, isn't it? Yes, yes it is. Hello students, I welcome you to this English class today. We discussed previously that poetry is a powerful influence on man, on his life, on his character. And here you see the poem A Sum of Life is such a poem which tells you and which has influence on human character, which has influence on the human personality as well. And it says progress is inevitable in life. Life without progress is like the proverbial play of a Hamlet without the friends of Denmark. So, everybody should try best to inspire others, and everybody should create footprints. We should do something so that others should follow us. We should make footprints. People should follow our footprints. Our future generations should be influenced by us, and they should follow our footprints. The poet says, don't think that life is sad and purposeless. Life is never sad. Life is never purposeless either. Life is full of pleasure. Life is full of joy. Life is full of ecstasy. Life is full of meanings. Life is enjoyable. So, enjoy life full to the brim. So, life is always enjoyable. And the poet again hints at the three important aspects of time: today, yesterday, and tomorrow. What is the difference among these three unities? Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. What has become yesterday? It was once today. And what is today? It was tomorrow. And what is tomorrow? It will be today, the next day. So, actually there is a time, I mean present, past and future, they are not discrete elements. Present, past and future, they are not separate elements. There is a concatenation, there is a connection, there is a link, there is a chain, and they are connected with one another. Past, present and future, they are connected. As Shakespeare says, present mirth has a present laughter, what's to come is still unsure. Present mirth has a present laughter. So, present is important in life. Past has gone. Future, it has not come. Past is dead. Future is unborn, and the present is with you. Let us act with the living present. And therefore, present, past and future are connected, they are not separate, they are not discrete elements. Therefore, strive hard and leave the results to God. Strive hard, work harder and harder, and leave the results to God. Work harder. Work is worship. Work is God. Duty is God. Work is worship. We should work harder, strive harder, and we should leave the result to God. This line. This has an echo. This has an echo of what? Of our Indian culture and tradition, in which it is the echo of the Gita. Lord Krishna tells to Arjuna. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, what does he say? When Arjuna doesn't want to fight, Lord Krishna inspires him. The whole Gita is an inspiration. It inspires the reader. It inspires everybody. It has an inspirational force, and therefore, this poem, the Gita says it is the Niskama karma. The Gita teaches us the Niskama karma. Go on doing and doing and doing. Don't think of the result. It will come to you in 1,000 folds. So, result must come, but you should work harder. Work hard and don't think of anything. The result will come to you in 1,000 folds. It will come to you in many folds. Therefore, don't think of anything. Simply go on working. Work is under your control. The result is not under your control. It is God that will give you the result. This is what the Gita says. Lord Sri Krishna tells Arjuna about all these things. And this poem also has an echo of the Gita. And here he says that let us now come to the poem, a few lines of the poem. Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream, for the soul is dead that slumbers, and the things are not what they seem. You see how the poem runs like water. The poem is spontaneous. This poem can be sung with accompaniment of a lyre, a musical instrument. So, tell me not in mournful numbers, mournful, sorrowful. Life is but an empty dream. Life is never empty. Is life empty? No, life is not at all empty. Life is full. Things are not what they seem. And life is never empty. Life is full. And this is called optimism approach to life. As Vaikuntanath Patnaik says in his poem in ODIA, Jatra Sangit, he says, जीवन पात्र मो भरीछ केते मते नदेला किछि बोली कहिबी किहे आउ जीवन प्रियतम हरीछ मो भरम तरणी मोर तब सागरे बही जाऊ. So he says, God, oh God, what haven't you given to me? Everything. You have given me everything. Can I complain against you that you have not given me anything? No. So God, you have given me anything. I am happy. I am happy with the gifts that you have given to me. And he says, the soul that slumbers is dead. If the soul becomes inactive, it is dead, and things are not what they seem. And things are not what they seem. And here he talks about something, about the appearance and the reality of life. Appearance and the reality of life. You see, a snake appears as a rope in the evening, in the dark. Is it if a snake appears as a rope, is it a rope? In appearance it is a rope, but it is really a snake. And a rope appears as a snake, but it is a rope in reality. So, appearance and reality are different things, and therefore, things are not what they appear to be. Things appear to be something, they are not like that. Blue are the mountains from a distance. Mountains look blue from a distance. Are mountains really blue? They appear to be blue. The sky appears blue. Is the sky blue? The sky is actually not blue. So, the sky is not blue, thus it appears blue, and things appear to be something, but they are not what they appear to be. They appear to be different. They appear to be something, but they are really something. So, reality and appearance are different things. So, things are not what they seem. They seem something different, but they are really something different. That is the thing that he talks about, the appearance and the reality. Appearance and the reality. In reality, it is different, it is something different. In appearance, it is something different. Therefore, he says appearance and the reality are the two important aspects of human existence. And in this poem, the poem says that he highlights a psalm of life is the song of life, which teaches and delights and which tells you about the human existence. That is it. The poet tells you that appearance and the reality are the different aspects of life. What appears to be, it is not really that. The sky appears blue, but it is not blue. The sea appears blue, it is not blue. Blue are the mountains from a distance, but mountains are not blue. They appear to be that, but the reality is something different. A rope appears as a snake and a snake appears as a rope, but therefore, appearance and reality are different aspects of life. So, things are not what they seem, what they appear to be. And he says there is no room for pessimism. Pessimism is a killer. Pessimism kills. Optimism heals. Optimism is a healer. Pessimism is a killer. Pessimism means to look at the darker aspect of life. Pessimism means the darker aspect of life. Optimism is the brighter of the side of life. When you look at the darker aspect of life, it is called pessimism, and when you look at the brighter side of life, it is called optimism. So, pessimism and optimism are two important aspects of human existence also. We can't ignore the other. Optimism is there, pessimism is there. If you say life is dirty, life is dull, life is morose, ill tempered, nasty, brutish, solitary, short, poor, it is called the pessimistic approach to life. And when you talk about the optimism aspect of life, we say life is meaningful, life is enjoyable, life is full of everything, life is full of possibilities, life is great, life is enjoyable. That is called pessimism and optimism. But pessimism and optimism are two philosophical epistemologies, philosophical considerations, and both the things are important. You see, we cannot say, you see, take a glass and the glass, the water is full up to half. If you say the glass, yes, now tell me students, the glass is half full or half empty? The glass is half full or half empty? Both are correct. The glass is half full, correct. The glass is half empty, it is also correct. It tells your psychology, it tells your mind. And when you say half full, you look at the brighter side of life. You say full, life is full. And when you say life is empty, the glass is empty, you look at the empty side of life, the darker aspect of life. But both are correct. And pessimism and optimism, the poet tells you, but the poet says that we should be optimistic in life. Therefore, be optimistic. And he says life is real, life is honest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust thou returnest, was not spoken of the soul. And you see how the powerful words are used, very simple but powerful, simple but profound, simple but meaningful, simple but stupendous. And therefore, he says life is real, life is honest, life is not an appearance, life is real, life is honest, and the grave is not its goal. Grave means death. Death is not the goal of life. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityu. Once born means you must die. Death is inevitable. Death is the only truth in life, that will come one day or other. And he said, dust thou art, to dust returnest. This is a line from the Bible. Dust thou, you, art means are, you are dust. To dust returnest, you will return to dust. Man came from dust, man will go back to dust. You know, God created man after his own image. God took a handful of dust, made clay, then he made a man. The first man is Adam, then he made Eve. So, God created man after his own image, and when man dies, he will go back to dust. He came from dust. When man dies, his body will mix with the dust, and therefore, dust thou art, to dust thou returnest. But this is not spoken of the soul, this is spoken of the body. Body is mortal, it will mix with the dust. It came from dust, it would go back to dust. But what about the soul? The soul is immortal. The soul never dies. Body is mortal, soul is immortal. So, take care of the soul. Soul is everything. Not enjoyment, not sorrow is our destined end or way. Enjoyment is the only aspect of life. If you only think of enjoyment, the enjoyment is not the only way of life. Do not be Epicurean. Do not think of joy, pleasure, these things of life only. We have other things to do in life, you have other responsibilities as well. So, you have to do a lot of things, a lot of work. So, each tomorrow finds us further than today. Each tomorrow is always better than tomorrow, and you know, past, present and future are not discrete elements. Past, present and future they are connected, they are concatenated, they are chained. There is a connection among these three units of time. So, past, present and future. Past is gone, past is buried, past is dead, future is unborn, present is with us. So, let us see, take care of the present. Present is important for us. And again he says that art is long and time is fleeting. Art is long, work is long, but we have little time at our disposal to finish these things in life. So, the line echoes a dirge, D-I-R-G-E, dirge. Dirge means it is a kind of poem. When the dead body is carried to the grave, the song is sung, therefore, it is a dirge. And elegy is, elegy, you know, elegy means when the poem is written on the death of somebody else, and here the poem is line echoes, not the poem, the line echoes the dirge. The world is a broad field of battle, and it is a temporary camp for us. We stay here for some time, it is the bivouac of life, and we are like that. Do not be the dom driven cattle, do not be like cattle, do not be dom driven cattle, be a hero in the strife. And here broad field of battle and bivouac of life, these are the metaphors, and they, I mean, metaphor is a comparison of dissimilar objects, and without like or as, and this is life is like this. And he says very important thing, trust no future however pleasant, dead past should be buried, act in the living present. Present is important for us, heart within and God overhead, God is with us. You go on working and working, work, go on working, work is important, work is worship. Do not think of the result, it will come to you in thousand folds. So, it echoes the Gita, which tells you that go on working, the result will come in thousand folds. It is the echo of, that is Newton's third law, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction, the result, that is very important for us. Hello students, welcome to this English class. You know that there are some poetic devices like metaphor and simile. Simile is a comparison of dissimilar objects with some comparison markers. The comparison markers like or as. If such words are there in a sentence, we call it a simile. Be not like dumb driven cattle. You see, in this line we have like, be not like dumb driven cattle. So, it is a simile, but there is a difference between the simile and the metaphor. Metaphor is just the comparison also, comparison of two dissimilar objects in which we do not have any comparison marker. it does not have any comparison marker like or as. And look at the line here, world's broad field of battle. This is a metaphor. Here this part of the line does not contain any word like or as. So, it is a comparison, but it is a metaphor because there is no comparison marker. We are in the bivouac of life. This is again a metaphor, bivouac of life. Bivouac means a temporary camp of life. Man is born and man's life journeys between 2 points, between the birth and death. There are 2 points, one point is birth, the other point is death, and the line between these 2 points is called life. So, life is between these 2 points, birth and death. Man's life is also between 2 fires. When man is born, a kind of fire is there. When a person dies, there is also another fire. Therefore, we call it dunia. दुईटी निया भितर सीमित को कुहाजाए जीवन. So, this is life, life between these 2 fires, life between 2 points. So, life is a stage on which we are just mere actors and actresses. We are acting there, we are playing here, we are mere actors and actresses. The world is stage and we are now actors and actresses in the stage of life. The poet says, trust no future, however pleasant. He told you 3 important units of time: past, present and future. Past is dead, future is not born, unborn, future is unborn, and present is with us. And he says, do not trust future, do not believe in future, because future is uncertain. Do not believe in future. Shakespeare says, present mirth has a present laughter, what's to come is still unsure. What's to come is still unsure. The future is always unsure and uncertain. So, do not trust future, only act in the living present. Present is living with you, it is with you, present is with you, act in the living present. Do not believe in the past, past is dead. Do not believe in future, it is unborn, it is uncertain also. Only believe in the present and act in the living present. But you should have 2 important things in life. Not only act in the living present, along with it you should have heart within and God overhead. You should have heart within, courage, patience. You should work and wait to get the result. The result will come, it will come to you in 1,000 folds. So, have patience, keep patience, heart within, but believe in God. God is there overhead, God is there to take care of the action of your result. You have control over the action, you have control over your work, but you do not have a control over the action over the result. So, result will come, it is God to take care of your result, because He will decide how much you have put in, how much labor you have given, how much patience you have kept, and then God will give you, He will weigh all these things together and God will give you the result thereafter. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Lives of great men all remind us, make your life great as the great men have done their work. So, follow the great men, do as the great men had done. We can make our life sublime, noble, great. We can also make our lives noble and sublime by following the lives of the great men, great souls. And if you do that, you will leave behind us, footprints on the sand of time. Again here, sand of time is a metaphor. The sand of time is a metaphor. It's a comparison is there, but without any comparison marker. A forlorn and shipwrecked brother shall take heart again. What does it tell you about? What does this line tell you? A forlorn means unhappy, sorrowful, a mournful, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother. Shipwrecked means a brother, a fellowman of yours, a brother of yours who is in trouble, whose ship is wrecked, who is a fallen and a shipwrecked brother shall take heart again. You can instill in his heart the meaning of patience, the meaning of sense, and the meaning of the patience of life, and he will follow you, because you are going to teach him something, and he will take heart again. He will have courage from you, and this will develop a kind of, it is a sense of fellow feeling that you should have. Everybody should have the sense of fellow feeling in life. And says, be up and doing, be up and doing. Don't sleep, don't be lazy, don't be idle, don't idle away your life. Don't be lazy, be up, be active and doing, do things. Don't be lazy, continue doing things. So, be up and doing. Learn to labor and wait, and you learn to labor and wait, as Vivekananda has said, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Arise, don't be idle, be up, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. So, be up and doing. Learn to labor and wait, learn two things, learn to labor and wait. So, it is the echo of the Gita. When Lord Sri Krishna advised Arjuna the meaning of Niskama karma, it is as a panacea, as a remedy to his turbulent mind. What does a Niskama karma say? Niskama, nihi kama, no kamana. Simply go on doing work, karma. Only believe in work, karma, work is worship. Do not believe in anything else. Work is worship, go on working and working and working, and the result will come to you in many folds. Lord Krishna said about the Niskama karma, and what Newton also has told you in his law of motion, the third law of motion. To every action there is equal and opposite reaction. The reaction is the result. You will have result according to the action that you have given. So, all these things are interrelated. All these things are interrelated. So, dear students, so the poem moves like water, very natural, very clear, very simple, very profound, very interesting. The words are very simple, but they are very profound, meaningful. So, the poem moves like water, very natural. It moves as leaves come to a tree, very natural. So, there is emotion, there is feeling, there is sentiment. All these things are rolled into one. We have emotion. He has taken care of the heart, heart within and God overhead. We should have a good heart, we should have feeling, we should have emotion, we should have sentiment, we should have love for others, we have thought, we have reasoning. So, there is a juxtaposition of hate and heart. Hate and heart are juxtaposed vis-a-vis. Emotion, feeling, sentiment, all these things are related to heart. Thought and reasoning, these things are related to head. So, we have all these things rolled into one. Head and heart function in this poem. So, the poem is both didactic and delightful. This poem at times teaches and delights. So, it is because it gives a message to the society. It gives a message to the society, and he says about, the poet tells you about the optimism as a driving force. Man's life can't progress without optimism, without hope. So, hope always it is a propelling force, it propels forward, it drives us forward, it is a driving force. So, everybody should be optimistic, everybody should have optimism in life, hope in life, be hopeful, do not be hopeless. And he also tells you about the man is the handiwork of God. God created man after his own image. Therefore, he suggests finally, do something worthwhile, do something worthwhile, so that you should be remembered by others, by the successors, by the coming generations, and you leave footprints behind, so that others will follow you. Love for fellow men, love your people, love others, those who are with you. Your life is not only meant for you, your life is also meant for others. Life is meaningful. Work and wait for results. Work and wait for results. Do not be impatient. Go on working and working, and result will come to you. God is there overhead. He will take care of the result, and he will give you the result of your work. So, dear students, life is meaningful, life is enjoyable, life is ecstatic, life is what not. Life is full of possibilities, life is worth living. So, do not be pessimistic in life, do not give room for pessimism, do not think of pessimism, it is a chiller, it is a slow poison, it will kill you. Therefore, no pessimism, only optimism. And this poem teaches and delights. This poem by S.W. Longfellow is a very powerful poem, which teaches and delights you, the students, the children, the grown-ups, everybody feels inspired to read this poem. So, he is a very powerful poet, and this poem is a very powerful poem, which everybody should learn, everybody should read. Thank you very much.